What it do, y'all? Flyann back here with another trailer analysis. This new trailer for Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is jam-packed with a lot of cool stuff to discuss, so let's get straight into this analysis. Same as last time, I'll play a chunk of the trailer and discuss things about that section afterwards.
There you are! You monsters!
Cut it out! We're your friends here!
Did they order you to destroy Oroboros too?
The world, our enemy.
Even though we're being chased by both nations at once.
There's a reason we met. There has to be.
That's why!
Let's go!
The woman with the red eye is very significant in this trailer and in this story. We'll get into more of that a little bit later, but keep her red eye in mind. Her name is Ethel, according to the official Japanese site. She's the Kiev's Colony 4 military commander. She seems to be someone from their past that was a friend, but is now under some sort of command to attack our protagonists through her will or the will of another. It seems that she's misinterpreting them as some sort of monsters, or perhaps this is the true form of the Oroboros. Our protagonists ask, did they order you to destroy Oroboros too? Who are they in this regard? It's most likely the Nia and Melia type characters we saw in the previous trailer that wants this to happen, since they seem to be the head of their respective military force. This man with the red eye is also equally significant. You can notice here that he has a red eye on the opposite eye of the woman from earlier. His name is Isolgi, who is the army chief of Agnes's Colony Lambda. According to the site, he's after the protagonists for revenge. We'll get more into Isolgi later. It also seems like both Agnes and Kievs are going after our protagonists, causing them to flee, which is interesting considering it seemed that at the beginning of the game, these characters were aligned with their respective sides.
Come here! I got something for you!
Here's our first true glimpse of the combat, and there is a lot to unpack here. Right off the bat, we see this minimalistic orange UI. Despite being minimalist though, there is a lot going on in the screen. If you're a fan of Xenoblade 2's combat, you'll be excited to see that this combat system does not seem to stray too far away from what we were used to with Xenoblade 2. We can see that there are 6 party members on the field at the same time. From the first trailer, it seems like we just start with 3 members in the beginning, and it seems by level 21 we can have all 6. On the bottom right corner, this seems very similar to Torna, with 3 abilities followed by a talent art, it seems. Above that is the ZR button to activate fusion, which we will see more of later in the trailer. This fusion button has something to do with the interlink on the left hand side. Perhaps you need it at level 1 to trigger it. The wide slash evade and glow ring are interesting. Extra things to do with your characters, it seems most likely triggered by the D-pad. To the left of that is the tactics button under ZL. I'm assuming we can use that to command our party to target a specific enemy or to back off, etc. On the top right, we see an enemy icon followed by a number. This seems to represent the current amount of enemies in battle, or current enemies that are aggroed to your party. At the center, we see the health bar, as well as the return of break, topple, launch, smash icons, and the top left displays our party information. I like the minimalistic icons here. The shield icon reminds me a lot of Final Fantasy XIV. What's interesting is the little icons on the character portraits themselves. So it is confirmed that there is a class switching system in this game based on text found translated on the Japanese site. As you switch classes, your appearance changes to the party member's main class you shifted into. For example, Noah can be a DPS, tank, or healer and adopt the weapons and outfits from his respective party members. Whether you can switch on the fly or perhaps switch characters in your party in the style of something like Final Fantasy VII Remake is yet to be seen, but it would be a cool addition. You can see a meter for chain attacks that make a return, and here we can see what seems like Mio using arts cancel. Perhaps auto attack canceling makes a return too. Wasn't too clear to me from this trailer alone. Also, Mio has air fang like Fiora. I'm sure we'll see pass moves make a return in this combat system. And I love this heavy Brog character. Love me a giant Brog fight, and oh my god, who's that? Rodbart! He's back. Thank the heavens. What's interesting is that he seems to be a similar or exact same model as his Xenoblade 2 version, barring any sort of transformation he may have in battle, of course. Perhaps to save time, this game will have a bunch of returning enemies from 2, which would make sense since they are using the same engine as either 2 or Torna. Perhaps this ties in with the narrative of having both games present, so we'll see past and new enemies alike. Maybe we'll see both Rotbart 1 and 2 in the same starting area. Scary stuff. Here is a little cutscene reminiscent of the fusion combos from Xenoblade 2. If you look at the top left, it went from topple to daze, so it looks like these little cutscenes made a return. Maybe daze will replace something like launcher smash, or maybe daze is added to the existing ones in this game, I'm not sure yet. And finally, this blue icon next to the health bar could represent the enemy being enraged.
What is that thing?
You've got a real death wish.
Now, kids, you share a common destiny.
I felt her thoughts. There were so many. And then they were a part of me. How are you inside me? Hold on.
Are we?
So you remember me mentioning the two characters with opposing red eyes. It is very clear to me that this villain here is their fusion. We can see that fusions take two people, and once fused, both their voices turn into one.
Death wish.
Also, people who fuse have the symbol on the opposite eye of each other. It's unclear if the villain is an Oroboros like Noah and Mio here, but I'm very confident in this theory. Speaking of Oroboros, look at this wonderful form they take. Noah already reminds me a lot of Fei Fong Wong from Xenogears, with the hair in a ponytail, but coupled with the fact that their fusion looks a lot like his gear Veltal, or Bobo we affectionately call in our playthrough, is very interesting. I'm curious if we'll see some more parallels with him and Fei Fong Wong and Xenogears in general. In Noah's eye, we can see the symbol of Oroboros. A quick aside, the Oroboros or Oroboros is an ancient symbol depicting a serpent or dragon eating its own tail, usually represented in things like alchemy. I wonder what all of its significance will be in Xenoblade 3.
There's sparks in me yet.
Hang in there, you're again. Mimi!
Let's get stuck in!
Yeah, will do.
So you can take that form via a strong desire or emotion.
Way out of your league.
Now, we can see the Oroboros in action. All the abilities change when transformed. When the Interlink goes to level 3, it seems like he can do a specific move. For example here, the Phantom Slash. It seems like each transformation has a move like this. Yo, Morbius? Another one of these cutscenes. This time it went from break to launch all at once. Maybe this is the Interlink move at level 3. There seems to be a gauge that goes up while you're transformed here in the top left. Perhaps when the gauge reaches full, you must end your transformation. There's another gauge at the Interlink, which when it reaches the full circle, will get you to the next Interlink level, I'm assuming. This transformation here reminds me a lot of Eggle, which would make sense considering Lanz is a Machina, just like him. Teon and Senna's design looks cute, but can't really relate it to anything in the past just yet.
Henceforth, all orders are rescinded. Eliminate Oroboros at all costs.
That is my revenge. It's payback for Nimue dying with her wish unfulfilled.
It's a wild ride, this passage of fate. We got ourselves a nice little awakening.
Why is my name on here?
My way demands we fight. Come then, and test your mettle against my lance.
This section starts off with Child Noah in some sort of area away from their main planet, just like this creepy sealed off place. It seems that time has stopped completely here. Perhaps this is a vision, or maybe it's a real place like Elysium. We're no strangers to space in Xenoblade, so I feel like this place could definitely be real. This mech here is piloted by Isulgi, according to the JP site. This section shows off some new characters, like this crystal-handed woman, this green-haired Gormati, a young Machina kid named Valdi, as well as a samurai-type character and his amazing-looking mech. His name is Kam Navi, and he's the chief of the Army of Agnes, Colony Delta. Piloting the Mechanis-looking mech is Ethel from earlier, who had the red eye, so it seems like a clash between Kieves and Agnes once again. Very cool designs from both of them. I really hope we can pilot mechs in this game somehow, but judging by the fact that we already have fusions, I don't see piloted mechs being in battle too likely. Perhaps there will be a way to be in one for overworld navigation?
Payback for Nimue dying with her wish unfulfilled.
This part of the trailer spoils someone's death, but that's okay I guess. Maybe it's not that significant. This icon on Teon's hands, by the way, must be the way all the characters' class changes are linked, since it seems everyone has this icon on them. For example, Lanz has that same icon on his chin. I definitely didn't expect Noah's weapon to do this. It went onto his arm like some Tony Stark type beat. The appearance of these gauntlets are seen throughout the trailer. I'm assuming it has something to do with the class switching, but for Noah's case, perhaps it holds more significance. Either way, it looks badass and subverts my expectations on what you can do with this Monado looking weapon.
Minato!
I've never used this kind of blade before, but all the techniques I can use with it are flashing before my eyes.
The only thing that can change all this is the will of Oroboros. You kids, and you alone.
Not that I have all that much time to spare, but soon.
Finding a path that lets us all live. I will make that my mission.
We got the final section of the trailer to analyze here. We got Spinning Nopon, and this enemy here looks like the one from Xenoblade 2. Nopons help in battle. Their names are Riku and Manana, making the total amount of party members 7, even though it's technically 8 here. These Nopon represent Rex and Pyra, Rex with the hair and Pyra based on her beta design from Xenoblade 2. As for the significance of the 7th party member, maybe it's something like Final Fantasy XII where you have guest party members in your party for certain parts of the story, or maybe it's like Xenoblade X where you can hire a party member for certain periods of time. We see someone named Xeon here who looks like he's part of the military, and Valdi the Machina child. Either way, it seems like this 7th slot is for temporary members only. Oddly enough though, the 7th party member can also contribute to the chain attacks. Speaking of chain attacks, they seem to be quite complicated. Xenoblade games not having a complicated chain attack system challenge impossible. All jokes aside, it seems to be focusing on some sort of TP system as displayed by the purple numbers above everyone's heads and near the enemy. This move Brave Assault seems to affect the rest of the chain attacks, which is a neat feature. This move in particular seems to give a completion bonus. Damage percentages are back as well as overkills. A quick aside, I had a video that went over the predictions for what Xenoblade 3's combat would be like, and I was both right and wrong. I was correct that it would not stray too far away from Xenoblade 2. In fact, many aspects of it seem to be the same. I was incorrect though in thinking that they would streamline a lot of things akin to Torna. Now it's not necessarily a bad thing that the combat seems to be as complicated as its predecessor. I just hope they have nice, helpful tutorials that will help us understand the intricacies of the combat instead of having to find the closest Xenohead YouTuber whisper sweet nothings into our ears to fully grasp things like chain attacks. Anyways, back to the trailer. We can see the Van Damme type character here wearing a sexy mask, which by the way, according to the website, his name is Guernica Van Damme. So it was a Van Damme after all, just spelt a little differently. I'm glad I don't have to hear Rex and Zeke theories anymore, I will say. I'd love to decipher what Mio is reading here, but I'm not fluent in Xenogobble. They mentioned something about the will of Oroboros, so it seems our party members are chosen by this Oroboros, and for some reason, they are being hunted for it. And finally, these particles in this area remind me a lot of Satoral Marsh, however they probably have a much different purpose within this story than just aesthetics. There is a gear/mech here, and it's not clear who it belongs to, but my guess would be Van Damme, just judging by the color and design. And now we see the advanced release date of Xenoblade 3. It was supposed to be released in September, but now it's moved to July. This feels almost unprecedented. This is a big win for Xenoblade fans everywhere, but it gets me thinking, are they pushing it forward because they are super confident in the game being done and perfect? I'd like to think having extra time for things like polish are a godsend. But then again, it's Monolith Soft we're talking about. They are on a different level. It could also be July for the sake of being a better month to release for sales. Either way, a pleasant surprise for everyone, even if this totally messes up my plans of trying to finish all Xeno games in time for launch. We get a glimpse of the wonderful special edition here, and the trailer ends. This brings this video to a close. I hope you guys enjoyed my analysis of this new Xenoblade 3 trailer. This was made the day that this trailer was released, so I most likely missed some things here and there. So if you guys spotted anything or have any theories, please feel free to let me know in the comments. If you'd like to see more Xenoblade content, feel free to follow my Twitch or subscribe. And I'll see you guys very soon.